If you want to learn magic from zero, this is the video you need. Not only because of the trick that I'm about to show you, that it's actually a really great trick that you will be able to impress everyone in just a couple of minutes, but because I'm going to teach you the most important secret that you need to know in order to amaze people with your magic. So that every trick that you learn from now on becomes a great trick, because this secret will allow you not only to impress people but to cheat on their brains, so they think that has happened something, but in reality it has happened something completely different. This is the most important thing in magic that you need to know from now on. So let's see first the trick, which is going to be just an example. Again, you're going to learn it and it's going to be an amazing trick. But the important thing is not only that, it's the secret that will help you in all the tricks that you learn in the future. So let's see. Of course, you know what, I'm a magician, so if I shuffle like this, you don't trust me. So I'm going to make the most honest deck shuffle there is, which is just mixing the cards in the table. We can cut from here, from there, okay, a little bit more, maybe a little bit here. So you know that the deck is really well mixed. Now let me square everything up, and I'm going to try something which some people might think it's difficult, some people might think it's impossible, but we'll see, okay? So what I want to do is to cut wherever you want. You can cut here, here, at any place you want. So the spectator will cut like here, and we will make a mark on the cut. And if you think about this, guessing a card is not that difficult. It's really difficult, but it's possible because it's 1 in 52 possibilities. So every time in 52, you will guess, you will be able, anybody will be able to guess the card. But here it's not only about guessing the card, but also where is that card, because you could have cut up, down, or at any place in the deck you wanted, but you cut it exactly at one point, and the deck could have been in any possible orders. There are more than 10 trillion possible orders of the deck. So if when we were mixing, I would have mixed a little bit more or a little bit less, the order of the deck would be completely different, and the card that you have cut would be completely different. But you cut it exactly in one place when we finished our shuffle. And right here, I have something. It's a blue playing card, the only one in the box. And you cut it exactly right here, about the middle of the deck. And even though it seems impossible, these two cards are exactly the same card, the 10 of hearts. Welcome to Illusion and Cards, the best place to learn magic online. My name is Julio Rivera, and today I'm going to teach you not only the trick that you saw, but also the secrets, the most important secrets to create great magic that impresses. So the first thing you need to know is the name of the technique we use. It's called a force because it allows us to force any card we want. So the spectator thinks that they are choosing a freely selected card, but in reality it's the 10 of hearts, the card we wanted to force. So the important thing is not what the technique allows us to do or what technique are we using to force a card. The important thing is the story of impossibility that we tell our spectators, because it's not the same thing to tell the spectator, okay, choose any card, the 10 of hearts. Okay, you have guessed a card, it's 1 in 52 possibilities. It's difficult, maybe a little bit surprising, but that's all. But it's not the same than telling them that we are going to shuffle, that there are trillions of possibilities when you shuffle the deck, doing this kind of honest shuffling, which you cut and cut and cut and cut, some cards get turned over, and then after shuffling and shuffling and shuffling, they cut wherever they want. They could cut up, down, at any place they want, and when they are sure they want to cut, then you mark the cut and explain that there are trillions of possibilities, that they cut it at the position they wanted to. And even though you had a prediction that was inside the box was all the time in plain view, so everyone could see the box. It's closed, there's nothing weird about the box, and when you open there's only one playing card. You put it next to the deck, it's a different color so you can see that it creates contrast. You saw the empty box, and then these two cards are the same cards. It's not the same thing because this creates mystery with the box, impossibility with the box being closed, with all the trillion possible orders of the decks after you mix them, because we could have mixed a little bit more, a little bit less. The spectator could have cut it up, down, at any place he wanted. So it's not the same thing to create a story in which we guess a card, 1 into 52 possibilities, than creating all of this. This is one of the most important secrets you need to know. Presentation is everything. There is not a bad magic trick, not a bad technique. There are bad stories of impossibilities, because magic is a story of something impossible that becomes possible, that questions the spectator reality, something that shouldn't happen that is happening. And the more impossible we create the story, the better it would be, more amazing, because in the spectator mind it's not the same to guess a card than creating all of this. That's why I created this presentation. This is only an example. This can be applied to any magic trick you learn online or at any place. Or when you see, because probably when you see other magicians that you admire, professional magicians, you will see this. The important thing is not what techniques are they using or how are they performing the trick. It's what story of impossibility are they telling their spectators, and how are they making the spectator to believe that story is real. And that's where the technique becomes a little bit more important, but not that important, because this shuffle that you saw is only keeping an eye on the 10 of hearts. So in reality, what I'm doing is mixing all the cards, except for the 10 of hearts, that is always here. Sometimes I put it in between and I see what it is, and then I cut, so it's again on the top, and that's all. I'm just pretending to shuffle the cards. It's not even a technique, it's only just acting. So it's not even a technique. The technique is simple, it's even stupid, but it looks real and convincing in the context of the story that you are creating. So that's the important thing, believing that that you are really mixing the decks. So also your naturality, that your moves are cohesive, and I don't know how to say, but that they look natural, that they all look the same when you are doing some tricky stuff and when you are not doing anything. So those are important things. What you tell to the spectator, the story of impossibility, the more impossible you make it, the better, but that story has to be, the spectator has to believe that story. So that is where the acting, the techniques, and all the things that you do, what you say, how you act, how you move, becomes important. And in all of this context, what happens, the technique that you want to learn, is really simple. So what happens is that we have the 10 of hearts on top. Maybe you have already guessed, because I have done this trick twice. You can't repeat this trick because the spectator will notice. So what happens is that we have the 10 of hearts on top. We tell the spectator to cut, and we mark the cut. And then we get the card from the middle. As you have seen, it's not the middle card, it's the top card, that we move the top card from the top to the middle in theory. But if you perform this like so, it will be obvious and the trick won't work. So again, the technique is not important. What's important is how the spectator brain works and what you say in order to trick the spectator brain. So what happens is that we are going to create a forgetting parenthesis. It's called in Spanish. There's not a translation in English, but what we are creating is as a time space, so the spectator forget what has happened. Okay, so we perform the tricky part, the technique, which is moving the top card to the middle, and then we create a time space telling something else to the spectator. This part is where I tell them that it's not only guessing 1 into 52 cards, it's also knowing where the spectator would have cut in the trillion of possible orders of the day when we shuffle, because we could have shuffled more, less. So all these things that I'm telling the spectator is not only to create an impossible story, it's also to create that forgetting parenthesis that is called in Spanish. This was a concept created by Arturo Dascanio, a Spanish magician. That's why it doesn't have a translation, maybe parenthesis, well, it doesn't matter. So what we're creating is all this time space, so this brain of the spectator forgets if that's the middle card or that's the top card. And this is where, again, our acting is important, to be natural, to get this card from the middle as if it was the middle card, as if it was obvious. If we hesitate that this is the middle card, we try to cover it or say, okay, you got it here, okay, we are going to mark this is the middle card, okay, so this is the middle card. If we give it too much attention, the spectator will notice and it won't work. Because when you act natural, you don't need to cover anything. So do the same thing when you perform your magic tricks. That's why you have to be cohesive. You have to perform the moves exactly the same when you do a tricky part like now and when you don't. Because for the spectator, it has to be the same. If you give it too much attention, they will too, and they will notice. So now you have to say, okay, you cut here. Are you sure you want to cut a little bit less, a little bit more? So they may change or cut more and say, okay, put your packet there, and we're going to mark the cut. You say we're going to mark the cut, and then you get the attention outside the deck and into what you are telling them. All the presentation, all this impossibility of where he has cut, the trillions of possible orders, and then when enough time has passed so the spectator forgets which card is the top or bottom card, you, with full conviction, get this card. Well, you show this card, so there's a blue card. This also creates more forgetting parentheses, and then you get this card as if it was the middle card. You need to be convinced that that is the middle card, and this will also convince the spectator, make them sure that that is the middle card. If you do it well enough, if you do it the same way I did it in the presentation, when you show that both cards are the same, I promise you the spectator will be amazed and they won't have any idea how you perform this trick. So remember, magic has more things than just a technique or a trick. And the problem when people learn magic is that they begin, usually in YouTube, which is an amazing place to start learning magic. YouTube allows the magic to grow so that more people knows magic and that it creates more magicians and better magicians. But when you want to go from a person that does tricks to a magician that impresses everyone, you need more in-depth knowledge of the how magic works. This theory and these concepts that allow you to create impossible stories that really convince the spectator that what has happened is completely impossible and they get completely amazed. And for this, you need more in depth. You can't learn these things in a 10-minute videos because we're explaining one of the most easy techniques that there is online, that there is in worldwide, and we are taking more than 10 minutes just to explain this, so I can give you just a little bit of what is happening behind this simple magic trick, so you understand it. So imagine in a TikTok, in a 60 seconds TikTok, it's impossible to learn great magic. That's why I'm actually going to keep uploading these videos so more people can know magic. But if you wanna give the next step, if you wanna learn more magic, in-depth magic, then you can go to illusionandcards.com. The idea is to create a project with everything you need: courses, products, deck of cards. We're also going to create a free newsletter with these kind of concepts, in-depth articles about the theory and the concept behind doing a great magic trick. So that's what will be in illusionandcards.com if you're interested, and if this project gets enough people that are interested in seeing this thing become real. And I hope you enjoyed this trick. Remember, keep in mind those things in all the tricks you learn, because when you know these basic things is when you can come back to YouTube, learn all the tricks you want, and change that tricks into magic, into impossible stories that amaze everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, these are really complex concepts that I'm used to explain in Spanish, and it's difficult for me to explain in English. I hope you did understand. If you did, make sure to comment. I want to hear your thoughts on how is my English, if you understand me, if you understand the things that I'm trying to explain, if you enjoy them, because I would really love to hear your thoughts. And if you like my videos, make sure to subscribe. This will allow me to invest more time into this project. And I'll see you next week. Make sure to go to illusionandcards.com. Bye bye.